It may not be delivery, but it still ought to be melty, crunchy, and plain old delicious. Here's how DiGiorno and Red Baron stack up in the ultimate frozen pizza battle. Both DiGiorno and Red Baron give their pizza dough added dimension with a variety of thicknesses and textures. The former offers a whopping 11 different ways to dazzle in this department, including, but not limited to, stuffed crust, rising dough, and square-style deep dish. It's like having a custom pizza maker waiting in the freezer to take your order and provide your favorite on demand. While perusing the frozen grocery store aisle, you'll find DiGiorno crusts in thin, rising, classic, Detroit, hand-tossed, gluten-free, stuffed, fully stuffed, thin and crispy stuffed, and loaded ultra-thin styles. There's even the super fancy croissant crust that provides flaky layers instead of the usual chewy format. Red Baron does its best to keep up with a set of enticements in the form of classic, brick oven, fully loaded, French bread, thin and crispy, and stuffed crust, but it's simply not as extensive as DiGiorno's selection. Nevertheless, every option is a familiar favorite that gives shoppers enough possibilities to please everyone at the table. Ultimately, crust type is a tough call, which is why this category ends in a tie. Pretty much anything can qualify as a pizza topping these days.
Okay guys, we've cleaned out the refrigerator. I think we're just about ready to build the perfect pizza.
You might suspect that this part of the contest would come down to personal taste, but it's actually a little more complicated than that. With at least a dozen different toppings on offer, Red Baron does an admirable job combining meat, veggies, extra cheese, and unexpected elements. Some specific choices include Mexican pizza with taco sauce and sausage, barbecue chicken, and a bacon lovers collection with traditional and Canadian bacon. DiGiorno isn't slacking in the toppings department, though it only comes up with less than half of what Red Baron offers. There are special releases with flavors like mac and cheese pizza, while a tidy 7 toppings includes favorites like pepperoni and sausage, along with novelties like bacon and Hawaiian-style pineapple and ham. When mixed in different combinations with DiGiorno's greater variety of crusts, it makes for a larger all-around array. But ultimately, the points for the better toppings must go to Red Baron. There's no such thing as a wrong size when it comes to pizza. Rustic handmade pies and personal varieties are every bit as delicious as larger masterpieces. But manufacturing demands uniformity, which means that you're generally getting a typical circular pie in a square box when you indulge in frozen pizza. But both DiGiorno and Red Baron tip the pie game on its ear by taking the trouble to provide some variety in the size arena, and pizza lovers certainly appreciate it.
Pizza! Pizza in my tummy! Me so hungry!
For DiGiorno, pizza exists in classic and personal sizes. While this isn't terribly far from how a typical Italian restaurant serves up its slices, Red Baron goes one better with a French bread offering that takes the shape of an elongated rectangle. There's no rough-edged, rustic strangeness pretending to be an artisan pie, although in some lucky locations you can find DiGiorno in calzone form. Otherwise, these two brands deliver pizza to the table about as straightforwardly as possible, and that means it's a toss-up when the size category is tallied up on the scoreboard. When you're hangry for frozen pizza, you invariably want the cooking timer to run as quickly as possible. Unless you're willing to chew on an icy pie or somehow able to bend the laws of physics, you'll need to give the oven at least 15 or so minutes to do its magical work, depending on the size and style. So which brand more clearly realizes that every minute in the oven is a minute of enjoyment delayed? For a DiGiorno pie, you'll be watching the oven for a not terrible 21 to 24 minutes, depending on how your appliances work and how brown you like your crust. With Red Baron, it's a slightly quicker 18 to 21 minutes, which will get you eating a full 6 minutes quicker if you're good with blonde crust and cheese that's just melted, rather than gooey and bubbly. Both require 400 degrees Fahrenheit to get the cooking underway, which means that the respective crusts are the likely cause of the timing difference. Either way, you get your pizza in less time than it takes for your local delivery hut to cook and carry pies to your door. So if you're in a huge hurry, Red Baron is the speedier selection. Though if you prefer a better baked pie, DiGiorno is the one to go for. We're going to take a wild guess and assume that you don't plan on eating an entire pizza pie by yourself.
Lay off me, I'm starving!
It's crucial to get a sense of how many people you should invite to your pizza party, then how many pies you'll need to prepare. Both DiGiorno and Red Baron offer circular pizzas that can be sliced into as many slices as you see fit. as well as some square versions that can be sheared into appetizer-sized strips. In any case, understanding what a serving equates to for both brands can help you effectively divvy up the deliciousness while also tracking nutrition. A round DiGiorno pizza labels a serving as 1/5 of a pie, which is a sensible portion and slice size. A similar Red Baron pizza ups the ante by calling a serving 1/4 of a pie, thereby providing portions that are a bit more generous. However, anyone who's dealt with the temptation of divvying up an at-home pizza knows that hunger ultimately dictates slice size and serving quantity. The manufacturer's suggestions align with nutrition facts for their designated servings, an important aspect to consider if you're paying close attention to your diet. The bottom line here is DiGiorno offers more servings, whereas Red Baron provides larger servings. You're probably not expecting a nutritious meal when you're downing a frozen pizza. Instead, it's an occasional indulgence that hopefully won't put too many dings in your overall health, as long as you enjoy it in moderation. But knowing what you're getting yourself into can nevertheless help you make a decision that assuages any anxiety over calories, fat, or sodium. According to the listing on the box, one serving of DiGiorno 4-cheese pizza consists of 139 grams and contains 320 calories, 11 grams of fat, 25 milligrams of cholesterol, and 720 milligrams of sodium. A slightly smaller 126-gram serving of Red Baron 3-cheese pizza provides a similar 320 calories, though the fat rings up at 14 grams, the cholesterol at 30 milligrams, and sodium at 710 milligrams. The two are close enough to make the decision a challenge. Of course, nutrition numbers will vary depending on how large you make your slices, but these figures at least give you a baseline for what you'll be getting into if you stray from the suggested serving sizes. Ultimately, DiGiorno and Red Baron are neck and neck in terms of nutrition.
It's too close to call! I don't believe it!
No matter what style of pizza pie you favor, if the ingredients are subpar, your experience is going to suffer. While both DiGiorno and Red Baron offer moderately priced packages, there should still be a level of expectation for high quality that translates into fantastic flavor and top-notch texture, from crust to toppings. Digging into DiGiorno's website makes it easy to survey the selection of ingredients. Thankfully, this is a simpler process than shuffling through the boxes while holding the freezer door open at the grocery store. Boasting 100% real cheese is great news for anyone wondering if strange one-off cheese replacements might be present. But if you crack open the ingredient list on a meat lover's pie, you'll find a volume of odd elements like cooked pizza topping mix. That appears to be pork, chicken, beef, and soy mashed together in what is presumably ground meat-like topping that includes natural grill flavor. We're not sure quite what to make of that, but we certainly wouldn't call it natural.
Yeah, say that again.
If you fly by Red Baron's website to investigate its meat lover's pie, you'll find a similar readout with slightly different dictions, such as cooked beef patty topping and textured vegetable protein. There are also a whole lot of additives, nitrates, and dough conditioners that are maybe better left a mystery. Frankly, both DiGiorno and Red Baron appear to use equally questionable ingredients. Maybe you see frozen pizza as a way to minimize your dining expenses while still enjoying one of your favorite go-to dishes. Rising grocery costs may have kneecapped that philosophy, though, while restaurants are doing their best to compete with promotional prices and special menu offerings. But pizza is one of those frozen food items no one seems to stop eating, no matter what way the economy turns. Both DiGiorno and Red Baron remain as convenient as ever, though you may have second thoughts when you learn what you'll actually be paying for that kind of convenience. Prices are often dependent on where you live, but in general, you can expect DiGiorno to range from $6.99 for smaller and simpler options to $10.99 for grander pies. Red Baron keeps its selections slightly more affordable with prices between $4.79 and $12.59 for multi-packs. Anyone who knows how to top their own Italian delight with fresh meats and veggies can save a few bucks by opting for the cheaper cheese varieties. If you're instead choosing a more premium array for a special occasion, then DiGiorno's pizzeria-style pies with features like stuffed crust and specialty toppings might justify the higher prices. But in general, Red Baron is going to burn less of a hole in your pocket than DiGiorno. Now it's time to actually dig into the pizza. To keep the playing field as level as possible, we opted for simple multi-cheese pies from both brands. That meant a DiGiorno Rising Crust 4-cheese and a Red Baron Classic Crust 3-cheese. Though both pizzas baked up to expectation, even matching the photos on the boxes, The finished DiGiorno pie edged out Red Baron for appetizing appearance. We're a sucker for thicker crust and swirls of cheese, and DiGiorno absolutely delivers better than the Baron.
You'll never have to tip that delivery guy again.
Yes.
As for flavor, a single bite of each revealed the authenticity and freshness of the sauce, cheeses, and crust from both brands. Though Red Baron's cheese had excellent meltability, the crust was a bit cardboard-like, and the sauce had a slight chemical essence that was less than delicious. By contrast, DiGiorno's crust was just thick enough at the center to be chewy, with a pillowy border all the way around. DiGiorno has mastered the sauce game as well, with a robust tomato-rich spread that provides a mellow base for cheese that melted smoothly and softly. Every bite was a reminder of how close frozen pizza can come to replicating a fresh baked experience. That means that as far as taste and enjoyment go, DiGiorno is delicious, whereas Red Baron is merely passable. There's a reason that DiGiorno compares itself to delivery-style pizza in its ads, as the quality of the pie from top to bottom really can replicate the experience of your local Italian joint. From the array of crusts that push the borders without going over the top, to a range of toppings that aims to satisfy without confusing customers, to a finished product that feels and tastes more like a fresh-baked pizza, DiGiorno acquits itself admirably. When the occasion calls for frozen pizza, we'd opt for DiGiorno over Red Baron every time. Red Baron does its best, but it simply doesn't fly as high. Simply put, there's a cheapness that can't be overcome by the mere promise of easy-to-bake pizza. If you're looking to load up your deep freeze with fine pizza for future dining occasions, consider saving up a little or looking for specials at your local grocery store to obtain a diverse DiGiorno collection. And don't feel bad about leaving Red Baron behind. By sticking with DiGiorno instead, you'll have some of the coolest frozen pies on hand whenever pizza is calling your name, but you're too homebound to head out the door or too cash-strapped to call for delivery.